Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a brand new video today. Hope you guys are keeping well and safe. We've got a bit of another update video today for you. As you can see, a little bit different as I'm still at work, but we'll kick off with the latest news in a second. Before we do, though, our channel partners over at Football Prizes got another Wolves-related prize up for grabs. You've got yourself a signed and framed custom boot display. A Mateus Cunha boot display up for grabs on there, alongside another couple of prizes. So be sure to check that out. The prize draw for that is tomorrow. But some pretty big news coming today, and it's sort of been hinted at over the last week or so in regards to the future of current Wolves manager Julen Lopetegui. We saw sort of middle part of last week news coming out about finances at the club, financial fair play, issues with potential summer plans for Wolves, issues that apparently Julen Lopetegui was not aware of when he took the job at the club. And it's starting to come out now, predominantly from areas of the Spanish press, that Lopetegui is basically unsure on his future at Wolves. His future at Wolves is in doubt. And there are going to be meetings taking place this week, you'd imagine going into next week, to try and clear up what's actually going to be going on from the end of the season onwards. It's so difficult to understand what's going on from our point of view as fans and outsiders, because you would assume Wolves would have been aware of any financial or FFP implications. It's not just going to be something that showed up overnight. Wolves would have been aware of this, and we saw in January, Matt Hobbs made comments about how Wolves are planning 2, 3, even 4 windows in advance. And when this news came out last week, I was just assuming that once again it was almost a smokescreen by Wolves to sort of lower expectations of fans slightly. We saw, I think I mentioned it on last week's video, we saw Scott Sellers last year basically said that Wolves need to be a lot more careful in the window and start selling players to buy players again. And I just assumed this was another case of that. It may well be. I don't think the Wolves are stupid enough to be in a lot of trouble with financial fair play. But the fact that Lopetegui even came out with comments about it in his press conference last week is a little bit concerning. So people in Spain, i.e. Gilles Balaguer that reported on this today, who I'm not 100% sure if he's close with Lopetegui, but obviously he's mutual with him. He did the sort of the first interview with Lopetegui at the club. There's also sources from Spain, Relevo, who are fairly reputable as well. They're believing that the future of Lopetegui is in doubt. People slightly closer to the club, your Telegraphs, your Express and Stars and so on, believe obviously he's under contract and there's no real doubt of him leaving as of right now. But it is obviously a concern that such a fantastic manager who's got us out of a lot of trouble now feels the need that he possibly has to leave and walk away from the club. But I'm sure over the next couple of weeks we'll hear a lot more of that, and I really do hope that the club can iron things out and get things sorted sooner rather than later. One of the big issues and one of the big talking points of the summer window is going to be the future of Ruben Neves. Once again, Barcelona have been in the news about Neves. Now, we've said it before, Xavi, who's the current Barcelona manager, doesn't seem to be that convinced by Ruben Neves. There's a lot of talk in the Spanish press that Neves was going to be coming in as a long-term replacement for Sergio Busquets. Xavi's not convinced about that. However, it's said today by Gerard Romero, who is pretty clued up from the Barcelona side of things, is that Xavi will compromise with the Barcelona board and basically say if Ruben Neves is going to be Frank Kessie's replacement, that he would be happy with that. But obviously he's going to want another player to replace Sergio Busquets. So as of right now, there might be some compromise between Barcelona, Jorge Mendes, Ruben Neves and Wolves to find him a place in that Barcelona squad, because as of right now, they seem to be the most likely team. There were whispers of reports over the last couple of days in regards to Manchester United having an interest in Ruben Neves, but Wolves have made that pretty clear that they don't want to be selling to another Premier League club. But we can wait and see on that one anyway. Now, goalkeeper issue is one of the things that's quite intriguing. Obviously, with Lopetegui, will want to clear up his future sooner rather than later, so he can start planning for his team. We had Rui Patricio when we first came up into the Premier League. He decided it was time to move on, and Jose Sá was pretty much a ready-made replacement for him. But over the last probably season, it's not been fantastic for Sá. He's dropped, you know what, I'm not going to say it's not been an atrocious season because he's had a couple of good games, but last season he set himself such high standards. This season has got to go down as a little bit of a disappointing one for Jose Sá, and obviously we've seen over the last couple of weeks Dan Bentley's coming to replace him. We'll have to wait and see who's in between the sticks for the final game of the season against Arsenal. But there's reports that now Lopetegui is in the market for another goalkeeper, and one of the players he's got interest in is the current Osasuna #1, Sergio Herrera. So that is a position that would be very interesting to see what happens with Wolves. We've been linked with many goalkeepers, but nothing too concrete as of yet. So we'll wait and see if Jose Sá is on his way out, and if Sergio Herrera is one of the players that is brought in to replace him. A couple of other players that have been linked over the last couple of days or so. Habib Diarra, he currently plays for Strasbourg over in France. A number of Premier League clubs reportedly interested in him. 19 years of age, huge interest from the Premier League side. He's broken into the Strasbourg team. Sort of plays that central midfielder, defensive midfielder. Not an area that Wolves are desperately looking to invest in because they've got João Gomez, Mario Lemina, Boubacar Traoré, Nunes. Obviously, if he stays, will be another player that can play central midfield. But you know, with potential sales, it could be a player that Wolves do end up looking at. And Dario Osorio, now you may remember his name. It was a player that was linked very heavily with Wolves last summer. He's back on the radar apparently. Wolves and AC Milan apparently both back in for him. Currently playing for Universidad de Chile. Like I said, Wolves and AC Milan both tried to sign him before, but it's thought that this summer is the summer that Osorio is ready to leave South America and move to Europe. So are Wolves going to be that team that he ends up moving to? Who knows? We'll wait and see. But in regards to the sort of calibre of player, the value of player that Wolves are looking at, Wolves want to be a lot more careful with their signings. They obviously want players that want to play for Wolverhampton Wanderers but aren't going to cost the earth either. And Dario Osorio sort of fits that bill for me. I think he's going to be a player that's going to be hungry. He's going to want to prove people wrong and show what he's capable of. And I don't think he's going to cost you a huge amount of money either. So we'll have to wait and see with what happens on that one. But I think that is all for today, guys. Of course, the big news about Lopetegui is the one. We'll keep our eye on that. If there's any major updates, we'll let you know in regards to that. And we had a podcast out over the last day or so as well. So be sure to go and check that out. And before we finish, me and Matt, we're going to be hosting an event next month alongside Carling with Wolves legend and all-time top goal scorer Steve Bull. Tickets for this will go so quick. We did one before with Jolie and Lescott and they went super quick. So be sure to get involved in that. There's currently an early bird discount for £5 a ticket. Tickets will go up to £10 very soon. So be sure to check that out. I'll leave a link to that in the top of the description as well. And yeah, be sure to hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with a pre-Arsenal content over the next day or so. And I'll see you all very soon.